Uneasy Lies the Head is a competitive GMless royal court role-playing game where 2 to 5 players go head-to-head to plot and scheme as antagonistic members of a royal court. You'll embody titles like monarch, paramour, claimant, or absolver, and prepare divisive plans to spread rumors, enact laws, and so much more. Uneasy Lies the Head is a complete game designed for highly interactive political role-playing. Players will take turns setting scenes, role-playing as their main characters and side characters to drive the story forward. After each scene, a player prepares one of the game's 12 plans, which will resolve later in the game with a dice roll to spice things up. The game starts with a tone-setting exercise to help all players get on the same page for the story they want to tell. Players will circle, line out, or cross off topics from a list of things commonly found in royal court stories. When you circle something, you actively want to see it in the story. When you line it out, you're okay with the topic coming up in the story, but not in any great detail. Crossing off a topic means you don't want to see the topic at all. Anybody can add new topics to the sheet as well to give other players a chance to circle or cross it off from the story. The story then begins with the prologue. Players make choices from the titles, hailing from, and laws and rumors sheets to flesh out their characters and the world around them. Each choice will have you make 3 different assets: peers, holdings, artifacts, or resources. Some of those assets get linked to playing cards, which means they can be taken by other players on future turns. Once everybody takes 3 turns, each player will have a handful of assets for the main event of the game, and a handful of grudges against players who so rudely took their favorite assets. Players will also be seated on the 3 ranking tracks, based on which playing cards they ended the prologue with. The 3 tracks, Power, Knowledge, and Esteem, will help players succeed in the plans that correspond to that track later in the game, so it's good to be on top. The public record guides the flow of the rest of the game. You'll step through each of the 13 rows, setting scenes and resolving plans as they come up. At the start of the game, every row is blank. On a blank row, the player who holds the focus player token sets a scene of their choice. They'll choose one of the holdings at the table, describe a situation, and invite other players to join as their main characters or as side characters. After some role-playing, the scene comes to a close and the player gets to prepare one of the game's plans. Each plan has a delay, which is the number of rows ahead that you'll add your plan when you prepare it. For example, Spread Rumors has a delay of 4, so if Lord John prepares to spread rumors on row 1, it will be added to row 5 of the public record. The next player around the table then gets the focus player marker, and you move to the next row. In most games, the first few rows of the public record won't have any plans, so you're good to start off light by setting scenes and just role-playing your characters. Once you get to a row with a plan, however, it's time to resolve it before any scenes begin. The player who prepared it takes over as actor and follows the steps. Most plans have the same structure. There's a pre-roll step where you outline the fiction and the stakes of the roll. Then you get to the dice roll. First, you determine the difficulty. For Spread Rumors, it's the target player's status on Esteem. John is targeting Celine, so his difficulty is 3. The actor gets 2 dice to start with. All players can participate in every dice roll as long as they're willing to leverage their assets to get dice. Each asset you leverage gives you 1 die for that roll to either help the actor or interfere with them. John leverages 3 assets and Celine leveraged 2 to interfere. Then they roll. Because the difficulty of the roll is 3, John is looking for 3 different dice faces in his results, but each of Celine's interference dice will cancel one of John's that matches. After Celine cancels 2 dice, John is left with 3 different dice faces. That's a success despite Celine's interference. John then gets to resolve the make steps of the Spread Rumors plan. If he had failed to meet the difficulty, he'd resolve the Mar steps. Both typically involve choosing from a pick list to advance the story forward and apply some sort of mechanical benefit. In this case, John chooses to break Celine's asset, which means he gets to tear off one of the marginalia that describes her character. This will fundamentally change who Celine is and shape her story going forward, so it's important he choose wisely. After a plan, the focus player uses its follow prompt to set the next scene. That scene, of course, will lead to a new plan later on down the line, and by the end of the game, you'll be resolving plans left and right and will have plenty of exciting intrigue to play with in your scenes. Once the public record gets to that last row, you'll resolve the shakeup, where everybody has one last chance to achieve their goals before the game ends. And that's Uneasy Lies the Head in a nutshell. Pick up a copy today at Adabel.games and embroil yourself in royal court intrigue.